It's not about how much you win, it's about how you bounce back from losses. In today's video, I'm going to go through my recent performance from yesterday's Asia session, as well as today in New York. I'm going to show you how I was able to get out of drawdown and teach you some points and tips and tricks for you ultimately to be able to do the same thing. So without skipping a beat, right on to TradeZella, we're going to look at yesterday's Asia session. And real quickly, what we do want to go over is the fact that I did have a little bit of drawdown during yesterday's New York, was able to kind of rebound. We talked about this in the last trade review. And then from there, kind of gave it back, was a little bit break even. And then I got this nice win, very clean directional move on Asia session. Now, looking at this trade specifically, I was eyeing this hourly setup, and I'll kind of show you what that was looking like right here. Maybe let's see if we get this full screen right here. Yeah, so I was looking at this hourly setup. I saw the fact that we dipped lower. We tagged an important level that I had, my 5150 area that I was targeting. Once we saw the strong reaction, I was looking for this little break of this consolidation right here, targeting basically up to that point right there. I did not catch the full move, nor did I really want to. I was willing to take the early profits as I sold into strength. It's never a bad idea to just take profits into strength. As you can see, my exit efficiency here is pretty on point. I sold pretty much into the peak of this move. Maybe you could argue if I hold another hour, maybe I see new highs. However, with Asia, it's very important to kind of just be happy with this type of stuff because very often it'll kind of fold and then you're back to square one with no money in your hand. So I prefer to keep that money, put it in my pocket instead of just let it slip through my fingers. And if you trade Asia, you probably understand why. But going into today's performance, that was yesterday's just solid trade. It was a solid trade all around, low risk, high reward. Going into today, I had a little bit of back and forth, right? I was kind of positioning for the upside move, got kind of chopped up on like the same idea. I'll show you some of these losses, right? They weren't bad. Just the stop was a little too tight. The stop was a little too tight. So I got in right here, got wicked out. This one I kind of didn't mean to enter on. I was kind of looking at ES, hit MNQ, and the sizing was just a little big. So I actually trailed this quick and let it tag me out. But that's just, mechanical error. Some of the trades that were what I was aiming for were something like this. This kind of just wicked me out. I thought we were going to immediately push, move my stop a little too early, and so forth, whatever. That's just kind of what happens sometimes. Was able to get this nice trade once I kind of let it set up a little bit. After getting wicked out a couple times, I just kind of let it consolidate, and I was able to get in for this opening range break of the 1 minute candle. Peeled some out here, peeled some out here, peeled some out here, and then ultimately got trailed on this dip. However, I was able to add back in and catch this move. Took one partial stop right there. Let's see. Right here, took one initially, which is fine. I mean, if I give back $50 on like a wick, sometimes that's just the cost of doing business, right? Can't really do anything about that. However, I was able to essentially take the same trade like a minute later, and it worked out well. So just more scalp based action. This one's, cleaner push. Got wicked out right here. Unfortunately, would have held that one to at least like 75. I think it was my next upside level. So, you win some, you lose some, but ultimately I walked away with more money on both Asia and New York's open than I had when I walked into it. So green in the bank is always going to pay better than some sort of hypothetical risk reward scenario. What we have right here is we are now net green on the week, as well as obviously on the month. We're up pretty decent on the month so far. Still have a couple days to go to hammer in close to ideally a little bit higher than where we're at right now, right? You can see the trade duration performance. We've been doing well with the runners, and the losses are just small and many. So maybe the executions on some of these days a little bit higher. So maybe give it some room to breathe, like we discussed in the last video. Some of these trades have a little more size, so I have to kind of scale that back and maybe adjust the stop size. Just kind of playing with these variables. But the one thing you will get from me is just real trading. I'm going to share what I'm doing at the moment, what works for me, what isn't, and I'm not going to give you no hypothetical nonsense. All of this, again, is being done on my 150K top one futures account. I use the instant funded account. With my code, $400, you get 6K in drawdown. Your daily loss limit is 37.50. You could pay to get that removed, but I mean, that's more than enough. I'll show you exactly what I do for my risk management. As you can see right here, this is what we're up on the last two sessions, essentially, for the daily open and also New York open. What we have right here, same P&L, link to the account, profit factor, yada, yada, yada. You can see my equity curve moving higher. New highs right here, as we talked about. New highs is always what you want to see. Slight retrace, new high, slight retrace, new high. You don't want to see persistent drawdowns because low win rate strategies are ultimately going to lead to psychological just stress. And what you see right here is this is a solid month. A solid month. probably clean up the executions of the last handful of days. But the thing is, I'm not too concerned with that. I'm more concerned about getting green on the board. And with this being said, you can go ahead and take a look at my risk settings. Now, unfortunately, what I just realized, I didn't have this locked. So what I like to do every single day is lock that risk setting. However, I didn't even think once about looking at it. It was like, I think the most I was down, um, most I was down like since Asia was essentially like 200, $300. Like I didn't lose many trades. So what I do every day before I start is I like to lock that risk setting at 1750. It's about half, give or take, of the daily drawdown limit, but I like to keep it kind of conservative. I don't need all that much risk. I'm aiming to make 5, 6, $700 on a trade. So to lose 1700, it's kind of unnecessary. Some days I'll get close. Like I had maybe one day this month was kind of close, like this week, I guess. But I try to stay within the pocket. So go ahead, lock these risk settings, set your auto brackets. These are all features within the Top One Project X platform from 150K account. It's super valuable stuff. I also like to block symbols like the bigger contracts because sometimes I'll accidentally use ES instead of MES, and then I take an instant loss that's much bigger than I anticipated. But with today's structure, we actually had this game plan in mind from the Discord. If you're in the Discord, cool, you're able to see it. If not, join the Discord. The link is below. It's free. Check this out. We were looking at the down. Essentially, first we saw the downside break of the inside day from yesterday. And then from there, we wanted to see if we'd potentially run for the weekly open. As you can see right here, weekly open. That was the intention. We talked about a clear reversal. We were able to get that reversal signal. If we go ahead and look over here, we see on the hourly over on TradingView that this signal right here was pretty strong at prior week low. The reclaim of that was a game-changing type of trade right there. Boom. Re-entry right there. Boom. This is NQ. Same idea applies to ES. They're sisters, so they move very similar. And yeah, that was essentially my analysis for the week, or for the day rather. I was able to capitalize on a prior week level and also a prior day level. So with those two things in mind, I'm able to look at essentially more upside. And I was looking to potentially get position before that, but it was a little too early for me. Was able to grab it right here, caught a little bit. I was trying to make sure that I did not go over, because again, if you're using, and the links below, check the description. If you're using a 150K account, you're going to have a 20% consistency rule, meaning you don't want any outsized days. You don't want a massive profit on one day, then small on the other. And what I do personally, I'm going to try to keep my winning days under like this number, under like 2,000 at most, because that means I'm having to take this balance up to 10K if I have $2,000 winning days, right? Because of the 20% consistency rule. I will let you guys do the math, but that's essentially how you're going to have to think about it. My goal is essentially to still run this up to about 10K. So either end of month, maybe first, second week of next month, then take a payout from there. I don't want to take a payout too soon. There's no point in it. If you know anything about prop firms, you don't want to kill your account. You want to secure green when you have a nice buffer. So hopefully this video helped you. I want you to kind of keep in mind these levels that we're looking at for the rest of the week. If we look at NQ, we'll look at NQ really quick. We'll go ahead and pull this up over here. Go over the levels really quick, and then I'll let you guys get out of here. If you enjoy this type of content, leave a like, share this with a friend, subscribe. I know a lot of you guys haven't subscribed, but when it comes to levels, what we really want to be thinking about is taking a look at this hourly real quick. And essentially, if this is a failed break below the range and we're back in here, we're going to want to look for these really, really, really soon. And we're seeing cross assets. We're seeing broad bullishness in crypto as well, different sectors. So it is leading me to the conclusion that we might be seeing some more upside very soon. Essentially, what you'd want to be looking for is into this area, into this gap right here as well, right there. This is just that Friday range or that Thursday range right here. So above that would be our target. And then our into end of week, maybe 19,500 on ES as well. Very similar setup. You look for the longs up to here into this gap, and then over 55.50. That would be the trade idea. So take a quick glance across a couple of different markets right here. I'll actually just pull them up one by one. Take a look at VIX. VIX is still holding somewhat, but it is about to drop. It may appear that way at least. So if VIX continues to fold, equities are going to continue to rally. That will be the idea that we're going to be looking for. And I mean, essentially just looking at the daily on these, I mean, is this our high or low? Is this our daily high or low right here? Is the bottom in? Is this the bottom? Good questions, right? I do think so. I mean, at least to here, it'd be reasonable to expect it to run to right here, and then we can assess if that wants to fail or whatnot. So I'd be looking for directional upside the rest of the week, ideally, but I'm open to change. I don't need to long this. It's easy to short. However, based on this daily close, I am inclined to think that higher prices are near. So to keep it short, keep it sweet, be looking for that 5550, then that 19,500 on NQ. So hope you guys enjoy just sharing what I know, what I experience, and ultimately showing you the chart, showing you the performance. So if this is helping you in any way, shape, or form, again, leave a like. It helps a lot. Until next time, take care. See you guys later.